So I went to the gym today and it was a really good workout. And I just realized that I haven't been in the actual gym in a while. You could argue weeks, to be fair. And it's quite interesting because as I was, early in the journey of, building this business, building my brand, and documenting the journey of building a seven-figure brand within 1,000 days, it was a thing where gym was a thing that was a constant in my life. It was always a thing that I would always be going to at least 3 to 4 times a week at the minimum. And as life has just been getting more busy, right? I've just been sort of slacking on that side of things. And, you know, if you have been watching my content, you would know that I was doing a lot of walking. I've been doing my 10K steps and all those sort of things as well. But in terms of actually getting a solid weightlifting workout in, like it's been very long since I actually done that. And it's quite an interesting one because I was having a conversation, and the sort of conversation was along the lines of business and health. And I was told that with the idea of business, I'm very much, you know, black or white. There's no gray area when it comes down to it. It's either it's working or it's not. And if it's not working, you find a way to fix it and resolve it. And if it is working, then it's fine. And you just monitor it to see how you can improve. You can argue that that's very much of a objective way of thinking. But then when it came down to the idea of health, and I looked at it from a way or a lens more so as subjective, and I was making up all sorts of reasons as to why I couldn't go to the gym or why I couldn't train or whatever the case may be. And that is when it sort of hit me that the idea of being subjective can be in a disguise, or it could be disguised as you making up excuses. And I have acknowledged now that I've been making excuses. I've been making excuses for, the lack of training. And interestingly, it was only until I went to the gym today where I realized why I need to be going and why I need to ensure that I have that back as a constant in my life, because it it just helps a lot. It just helps a lot, especially with, the ups and downs of entrepreneurship, business, all those sorts of things. I've learned that in life right about now, you have to just focus on the things that you can control. All the things you can't control, it is not for you to dwell over. You just keep it moving and you just focus on what you can control. And that is really and truly the way that you need to navigate if you are looking to build your level of brand authority. Because in the grand scheme of things, there's going to be so many aspects are external from you that you will not have any control over. But that is not the point. The whole point is that you focus on the things that you can do, and then you focus on making sure that the stuff on your end is ticked off and ticked off to the best of its ability. And through that, I then realized that the sort of lack of training was kind of not making me as diligent and focused as I should be. And now that we are in August, like honestly, we are months away up until Christmas. Like honestly, it will fly by without us even realizing. And you know, I said that this year is the year where I'm really going to dominate and really take control of life and really be in a position where everything is aligning to what the future is looking like for myself. And it just reinforced and made me remember and realize that I just can't be in a position where I drop off on my health and my fitness and training. So it was just something I had to just admit, to be fair, and be honest with, because you know with this channel, I'm not making these videos to be perceived as the most perfect person. Definitely not, because you know there's so much that I'm working towards, and there's so much sort of internal pressure, I would argue, that I'm putting on myself. But it is the pressure that's necessary in order to continue to get things done. So with that, I'll just say if you're in the same situation like myself and you are, caught up in so many things and you feel like you have loads of spinning plates, just put your health as a priority, because honestly speaking, when you get to the end of the road and you've hit all your objectives and you hit everything, you just don't want to be in a position where everything was done to its best of its ability, but then your lack of health and fitness and just well-being is just making you sluggish and slow and not focused in the way that you can be. And just don't get left behind when it comes down to your fitness and your health as well, because you know it's very easy for it to fall off the radar. And health is wealth. Health is wealth. And if you are looking to build a wealthy life, then the wealth is also something that needs to be embodied in all realms. And that comes down to your health and your fitness and how you look and how you feel as well. Definitely how you feel, because if you are working on being the best version of yourself, as I always say myself, and putting in the time and the work and the effort, then you need to keep going, man. And truth be told, I've been wearing a few suits as of recent, and I've been looking well, I've been looking good, and I just know that I cannot be in a position where I fall off if I want to continue to be feeling as good as I felt on those days. So it just needs to be a constant feeling. And despite the knockdowns or despite when things don't go to plan, if I have that at the priority and focus to ensure that health is something that I deem as the most important thing, then life can throw whatever at me, but it's something that I'll always be able to navigate, because I've been focused on keeping a sharp body and a sharp mind, as they both interconnect. So that's it, really. That is it. I may be doing some content on the other channels for gym, just to keep me accountable and just to keep going as well. And I think it's in my best interest to be honest with myself and to just reinforce the idea that in some aspects, being subjective is just making excuses for yourself. And, you know, when we are making excuses for ourselves, our competitors or the person behind us who's looking to overtake us is not making excuses, because they can see that you're slowing down. So, with that, I will say don't be in a position where you allow people to overtake you, and always be at your sharpest and your fastest and your strongest. And it all comes down to prioritizing your health, and then everything else will fall in place following that. So hopefully that was useful. With these things, I always come up with something new in relation to just stuff going on in my life, but I always find a way to make it relevant, because in the world of branding and, you know, building your brand and everything like that, you also want to be deemed as someone where someone can actually look at you and say that your brand is strong, your brand is cohesive. All the things that you said online, all the things that you do is very much cohesive with your appearance and how you look as well. And I just want to make sure that I can keep my brand as cohesive as possible online and offline as well. So that is it for today. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure that you check out the 4 Stages of Masterclass series as well. Make sure you check out the 4 Stages website when it's out as well. I'm sure you'll have the links. I'm sure that I'll include the link somewhere as well in the description box and all that good stuff. And all in all good, man. Make sure you go to the gym. Make sure you look after yourself, wellness, health, all that good stuff. Look after yourself. Peace out.